So that's what I had to say about soldering and how I solder SMD LEDs. And now let's mount all those tons of LEDs. A lot of work, really a lot of work, to this trailer using those mounts. Welcome to the chaos, and no, it's not easy. Probably more than 200 soldering and crimping jobs and several hundred dismantling jobs later. All LEDs are in their cases, soldered, plugs, sealed, everything works. First, let's talk about the light controller board. As you can see here, Orlandoo gives us this light controller board with two JST-PH plugs. Those JST-PH plugs to have 2 mm distance between pins, but those are too large for those tabs here. You can use a 2-pin and press it in. This will work even if it's too large, but here for the 2 spots with common minus, the 3-pin will not work. You see, it's too large, so you can't press it in, and you wouldn't have room anyway to connect those JST-PH plugs, and they won't work. The next size is 1.5 mm distance JST-ZH, but those are too small, they don't work. What would work here, the distance is about 1.8 mm, are those kind of plugs. I don't know any other ones, so those would work, but I didn't have enough of those to use them. And so I decided to connect and solder JST-PH plugs on the outer ports where I can, and on the 2 spots with the common minus I had to solder wires, and those are the aux channel and the main light channel. And you see, I did not use one aux channel port because I only will use LEDs with the same color, white ones, in the aux channel. I use this aux channel only for the lights here, front and rear, and for the 5 spots above the windows here and here and here. In my opinion, there should be a board to connect all those 33 LEDs. It's really super difficult, and I did not want at all to solder all 33 LEDs directly to the board. That's crazy. That's total chaos. I wanted to do as many plugs as possible, because I know if you solder those tiny LEDs, there's always a problem. There breaks a connection or whatever, and if everything's soldered and jointed together that way, you will be never able, or super difficult to repair all this. So I decided to make parallel connections for all the LEDs which will be connected to the different ports, and only use 1 or 2 or 3 LEDs connected in parallel. Then you see that's super chaotic, and connect them to the board, so I can connect and disconnect all LED groups. And therefore I made a list, but my list will not help you. You have to do this at your own, where I had turning lights, 8 LEDs. I need for the left side 2 groups, 1 single and 2 with 3 LEDs, and aux, that's simple, 5 times, but 9 LEDs. I connected many of the LEDs, like those 2 in parallel already after they get out of the light box or case, and it is chaotic. So what did I do? First of all, this will be connected that way here to the trailer on this mounting. Where is it? Here. So that's the way it will be screwed with 2 screws and will sit that way in the body. And I didn't see any sense all the wires going down, because this will be chaos. There's not a lot of room, and all the wires here, and here's the base plate of the trailer. So I decided to solder all the plugs in opposite direction, take care about the polarity, so the wires will then go up here, and there's a ton of room. That's the only positive thing. There's no space limitation, so this makes it easier. It's not easy, but at least you have a lot of room. And then I made for the turning lights 1 plug with JST PH2 pin for the left one, and here 2 plugs JST GH in parallel. Why that? There are 4 turning lights, yellow on each side. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I will connect, or I did connect 3 in parallel here. 1, 2, 3. And the front one will be single. And I need this for the left side and for the right side of the trailer. Then for the reverse light, where's the reverse light? That's the reverse light. There is no plug with parallel connections because there are only 2. Those are those 2. Wow. And don't pull, you will break it. Those 2 here on the low position, here and here, and those 2 will be connected directly to the board. And you see the chaos here, it's unbelievable. And for the brake lights, because I decided to use those upper lights as red brake lights and not white, as Orlandoo says, because in my country you can't have white light here. So I have 1, 2 brake lights here in the center and 3, 4 brake lights. And I decided to connect the upper ones in parallel, run the wire that way, and the lower ones in parallel. So, and of course I use the color code for all LEDs here. So red is red. And you see here the red LEDs are those in, I guess, in center position here from the left and from the right side, and they are connected in parallel here. Here I use the 36 gauge wire, then connected to 30 gauge silicone coated wire, and in the end to a JST GH plug. So I have the, again it's puzzling, that's reverse, that's brake. I have to connect the brake light splitter here, and in one port there go those, and the other ones are those here, the 2 for the upper port, and they will run here on the top and then connect there. And I connected no plugs here on the 3-pin ports with common minus because there was no room. I have a 6, is it 6? No, 5 JST GH in parallel here for the auxiliary lights, and those 5 are, the one is for this light, 2 LEDs in parallel, one for that light, 2 LEDs in parallel, one for that light, 3, 2 LEDs in parallel, and one for that light, 2 LEDs in parallel, and one for that light. That's only a single LED. So there are 4 times 2 LEDs, and one is for a single LED, and all those are here. I shorten and cut the wires to appropriate lengths, so I know now where I have to place them. There are longer and shorter ones. You see this chaos, unbelievable. And highly recommended not to pull. You will break the connections. Where are they? Here and here. And the other port for the main beams I connected. I had to use the common minus, and then 2 ports for the front lights, the normal front lights in white, and 4 ports for the orange lights with which are also running lights. For the front lights I have the 2 here in parallel, connected in parallel, and 2 here in parallel. Those will run that way, and those will run on the bottom. And for the auxiliary lights, I did mix up color here. Come on, chaos. For the orange ones, normally should this wire be green or blue, as my color code says, and this wire be white, but that's not that important. I have even 4 for the orange lights, because there are a single one here and 1, 2 which will be connected or are connected in parallel. Those are the green and, come on, blue wires. So you see here, that's for the last one, that's for the center position orange light, and those are connected in parallel here and go with 1 plug to the board. And there must be a single one somewhere. No, that's the from the other side. Where's the here, and that's a single one. I have 2 single ones which go to this position and then are connected to the board. So that's really not easy.